First of all, this is a warning. If you get motion sickness, have vertigo, any of those things, I personally do, you may not want to watch the screen, which is fine because I'm just going to be talking. So I'm driving. This isn't a minivan Monday kind of a chat or a minivan chat because I'm in my husband's Toyota Sequoia. So, but I am driving and I don't have the best setup. So just, so I'm like, it's going to be maybe a little bumpy. Noise-wise, if you hear road noises, that's all it is. But I have been wanting to come out on the channel and give you guys an update. So hello, new friends, seasoned friends. This is probably all for my seasoned friends. Finally, a long chatty update. I've been posting some videos here and there, so we got all kinds of things to talk about. So it's February. Yes, it's February. February, what is it? I don't even know. 12th? Is it the 12th today? It's Wednesday. It's a Wednesday. And I am en route. So it's about 4:20 in the afternoon, so we'll see how long I talk. I don't know how soon the sun will go down. Right now it's getting me right here, but I'll be turning north shortly. So what are we doing today? So I am on a mini adventure. So I did a lot of traveling in 2024 and the end of 2023 when I got my new job. So that was fun and exciting. And I don't know, I don't remember. I think I wrote it down, like how many days I was actually on the road away from home. But I do know I put in over 10,000 miles in 2024 on all the different rental cars. And typically I would be gone 5 weeks minimum. Maybe there were a couple that were only 4 weeks. But usually it was 7 or 8 weeks that I would be gone at a time. So that was a lot. I absolutely loved it. So you may remember my old job was a very bad situation, and I got a new job, and at first things were not going well, but I persevered. I stuck with it, you know, whatever the right term is, and am very in a good spot work-wise. Okay, seriously, I turned just enough that the sun has to shine right in my eye. Okay, there, I know. Again, this is why don't look at me. Do whatever, do some crafting, do some cleaning, whatever. Sit on your phone and play games while you listen to me. Don't be looking at me. So, yeah, it was tough. I mean, it was tough. But this company was great. And I worked my butt off the whole time that I was with the company, which was 1.5 years. And I learned so much. I mean, I pushed myself beyond what I thought I was capable of. And it was because I did those things, I really grew as far as professionally, and even, I don't know, I was going to say mentally, but just my own self-esteem. Still seriously struggle with it, but I became stronger as a person, and I really didn't have a choice. So I don't remember the last time I really chatted and given you guys an update, but you know, I was hired for this position, and somebody I knew, an old co-worker, actually referred me, and he was on the team, and I know it was his recommendation that got me the job. A strong portion was his recommendation. So we got into it, and anything I thought I knew, I was wrong, because the changes in the system from what I was currently working in were so different. It was like starting from scratch. And then he left. So June I got the job. By September he left me. He took a different position. Sorry, I need to try and fix something on the way I have you situated. Righty tighty, right? Lefty loosey. Something's wrong with my bracket. It's kind of driving me nuts. But anyway, so he left. So then it was just myself and then the boss, the leader of the team. So it took me a while to get used to working with her. She was very different. And for us to get in vibe, we were finally in vibe. Somebody else joined the team. And then another person joined like end of October-ish, I think. I can't remember. So then there were 4 of us on the team. Fabulous. So they think I'm the one with the most experience at this point. Sorry, we're going to move you a little. And, which was kind of hilarious. But, so my boss at that time had the experience with the company and the product and all of that. And I evidently had more of the software experience, which really wasn't much. I mean, I did, but not in this version. Blah, blah, blah. Fast forward. So I'm floundering, trying to figure it out. And here I'm supposed to be doing training and all these things. And I really didn't have a choice, but I had to step up and like help do trainings, help coordinate that kind of stuff, and then be the person to help. Well, come December, we're in the middle of pretty much our first, as a team, go live. And a week in, my boss gets let go. So now I am 6 months into the company and I am the senior member for the supply chain. So frightening. And yeah, it was very stressful. And there were some mean girls, as we may remember. But yeah, the other 2 ladies on my team absolutely love and adore. So at least we had each other's back and we had fun. And then come January, they hired a consulting firm to help us out. And I got a new boss. He was amazing. Of course, I was stressed beyond stressed because I don't know him and he's coming in and I don't know what I'm doing. And the first time I met him, he like observed me doing a training class, which I'm training them on stuff I don't even really know how to do. Anyway, he was a godsend and he is now a good friend. But he was just contracted through the end of 2024. So he really took over and led us. And with his guidance and pushing, I expanded my knowledge so much that I actually felt I knew what I was talking about when I had to do the trainings. Now again, these are things I would not have wanted to do, but there was...
To start voice recognition, push and release the talk switch.
Sorry. Again.
To start voice recognition, push and release the talk switch.
Guys, I'm driving Eddie's vehicle and the button to like do voice recognition is right by my finger. And I hit it, as you now know. And I don't know if I turned it off or not, but anyway, hopefully it's not going to do much. I'll try to be more careful. So yeah, so it was a crazy year. I traveled all over the place. I think there were seven facilities total in the U.S. and I supported all but one of them. And the one I didn't get to support was one of our Wisconsin plants, and it was simply because it went live in the system the same time as another site in South Dakota, which is where I was stationed. So yeah, I went to Jerome, Idaho. I spent almost 2 months there. That was a very, very stressful one. Very stressful. Eddie actually flew out to the area because I drove. I don't like to fly. So I drove. It was a 2-day drive. It's really not a big deal there. So I was going to have to drive back. So he was able to fly out, do his dialysis. He found a spot there, and then we drove home. Meaning he drove because I was so stressed and mentally fried. Yeah, it was a bad one. But not bad. Had I had to do that like at the beginning, it would have been so much worse. This time I was actually very confident in my abilities and what I was doing, but there was definitely not, I don't know how to say it. I don't want to speak bad of people, but there was a lot of weight on my shoulders. It was not spread equally. I'm just gonna put it that way. But we made it. I actually had a couple not so typical Kathy moments where I completely lost. Okay, I might swear a little bit in this video, just to let you know, that's not my normal thing. But sometimes there's no other way to say it. Just say I lost my shit a few times, and I like dropped an F-bomb at like the head guy that was doing this whole thing. So that was not my proudest moment, for sure. Thankfully, nothing came of it. If I was going to do it, he was the right one because he didn't take it personally. Anyway, so it all goes to be said at the end. So starting in, maybe the last time I talked to you guys, I was getting a little anxious about, am I going to have a job? Because again, I was hired for this project. The project ended at 2024. My boss that had been working with us, the contractor, his contract was up at the end of December, and I needed to know, do I job hunt? And I didn't leave the last facility till I think the second week of December is when I left. So I'd really been pushing just to know if there was going to be a job somewhere in the company for me, if I needed to seek out like from open jobs within the company, or if I needed to look elsewhere. And again, I was okay with it because I knew it when I took the job that it might just be a short-term thing, but I knew the experience I would gain would help me with whatever came. So all of those tears, all of that stress, all of the uncomfortable everything I went through was worth it in the end because I was offered a job with the company. So I did benefit, from all that hard work. And so I told you there were two other ladies on my team. The one of them actually in the last summer, she accepted a position back at the plant level where she lived, which is where she had come from. She just transferred over to this team for the project. So she had a different position, although she did get to help us through the end. But she had already secured a position, so it was myself and another lady. And the other person was not offered a job. And I feel badly because she is an amazing friend and she's a joy. She and I actually worked together in a previous position with the company I left. She had worked there at one time. And she had been at my current company for like 10 years. So I felt for sure when the time came for jobs, you know, I was the newbie. I wasn't going to make the cut. But the only thing I can think of is because of all the things I did and my dedication and my push, the right people saw it and they offered me a job. So yay, that's the happy thing. The other happy thing is I did not have to take a pay cut. I was concerned because I was, to me, very generously paid, although it was I earned every stinking dollar last year. But it was considering what I had been at my previous job. And I thought, okay, well now if I have to find another job, I expected, especially even within the company, it would be lower paying. But no, I'm doing good. I even got a little bit of a raise. So I'm on this team now. So that's the good news. I got a job. I'm still with the same company. So I'm not the new girl somewhere, but I'm the new girl on this team. So as a result of the project we did, where we implemented the software system all over the place for our US and Canada plants. So that was like phase one. So now there's a phase 2 where we have more plants, but these are all in Canada. So our US sites are all on the system now. And then this year, more towards the end of the year, they are starting another wave and doing another whole section of our plants. They produce a little bit different products, but it'll be the same system. So I am not on that team, which means I don't have to be gone for 2 months at a time. Now, I admit, I really loved my hotel life. And at that last one in South Dakota, I actually had an apartment they got for me. And the only bad part about the apartment was there wasn't housekeeping. So I had to do my own cleaning. But the good thing was it was just me. And you do your standard cleaning every week. It's not a problem. And it had like a full stove, all the appliances. It was more like a studio. It was a 1-bedroom apartment, but it really wasn't that big. I would say it's more a studio with a walled-in bedroom and bathroom. But it had a washer and dryer in the unit, or in the apartment. But then like the living room kitchen was just one open room with like the couch on one wall and the like row with the sink and all the appliances on the other. So nothing fancy, but it certainly fit the bill, and it was directly across the street from the plant. That was like the best thing, because where they were located, it was about a 40-mile drive either direction to the hotels where everybody else had to stay at. So the fact that I was across the street and that I would have to start every morning around 6 a.m. I'm not a morning person. And to be honest, most nights I was there till between 8 and 10 at night. So yeah, it was kind of nice to be across the street, and I loved it. But so yeah, I'm actually gonna miss I am much more an introvert than an extrovert. I think people can relate. I'm finally getting my husband to understand it's not that I don't like to do things or be with people. It's just a lot of times, especially in that work situation where I had nonstop pressure and stress, as far as the emotional and mental stress, that when I was done working, I just needed to be alone. You know, call it my social battery is dead, whatever you want to call it. I just needed that time alone to not have to interact with people. I didn't go out to meals with people. I just went back and made my own food. I did a lot of crafting. I got like a bunch of diamond painting done, mostly diamond painting this past year. I still did some coloring, but primarily I was diamond painting because I could just set it up in the hotel or the apartment, and I didn't have to worry about it. There were no kitties to jump on it, and I could just work for however long I wanted and then step away, and it was okay. I didn't feel like I always needed to get things done in a super timely manner. Hold on, let's switch again. Trying to watch. I've got a exit coming up. And so yeah, it was wonderful. So that's done. So with the new job, I am currently, it's still going to be a lot. I'm still trying to figure out what I'm doing. It seems 90% of my time I am still helping all of those facilities that got the new software system. I'm like the first person they call when they have a problem, which is daily. There are still problems. So that seems to be my most primary role. However, I'm part of this team. We're kind of like the sustainability, process improvement. We're here to like help, with the new system, find ways we can enhance or improve or use the system, maybe do some tweaks to make us more efficient, all those types of things. So I'm part of that team. So the thing is, in theory, I should be able to have a job for a long time, because as anyone that works in any type of system knows, there's always upgrades, there's always changes in processes, there's always problems. So that's a good thing. For sure, I know the next 2.5 years there is on the horizon specific projects for us, and it's that long where they're still doing this second wave of all the plants getting their systems installed. So as each system is installed, each plant goes online, we'll say, then once they get online, now I'm their point person. So it's not just me. There's a team. I think there's 13 of us. So we, from all different areas of the business. So we have like finance people, and we have procurement people and production people. and I'm still supply chain. There's actually myself and then now my new boss. She is from Canadian supply chain and I'm from US. So we're kind of the two supply chain experts, which is still hilarious that I'm considered an expert. But we both help with both. It's not like she only helps Canada, I only help the US. We are multi-team. So I'm excited when we can get to the point, and she and I were talking, and she's like, yeah, it's kind of like the analogy that, you know, we're like firefighters, and okay, I'm not a firefighter, so I'm not hopefully offending anyone, but, you know, a firefighter that is focused on, like I said, 90% of the time, we're just trying to put out the fires, and only 10% of the time are we able to try and do fire prevention so that they quit happening all the time. And to be honest, it's probably even less than that. It's probably 95.5%, at least for me. She's a little bit more focused because she is my boss. She has higher obligations, where she is involved and kind of pushed more towards that prevention stage. But the other analogy I think is fitting, and I didn't come up with this one either, but I was talking with someone about how if you've ever taken any type of classes, even if it's in high school or college, and you know, you have your advanced, you have your intro classes, your basic classes. In college, at least for me, it's like you had your 100 and 200 level biology, and then you'd have like 400 and 500 level, which were like the advanced classes. So I keep feeling like, because the questions and the people that are coming to me, that somehow they think I'm like the 400, 500 level supply chain instructor, and I have that knowledge, and that's what they think they hired. And in reality, I barely feel competent enough to teach a 100 level intro class. So there's that. And I told that to my boss, and she just laughed and she said, that's not it. We all recognize we're still learning, and it's your attitude and the fact that you are more than capable. It doesn't take you long to learn. So there's that, but that's how I feel. So that's my work life. The other thing with this job is I should not have to travel as much. I will still get to go back to sites, because some of my project is called the retrofit. So like things that have been implemented in the past year, maybe some sites did not get that information or get that set up because they were already on the system. You know, basically going back, touching base with everybody. So, but it won't be like I'm gone for 5 weeks at a time, maybe a week. Now, if I'm going to go back to Idaho and I want to drive, maybe I'll milk it and make it a 2-week trip. I don't know. The beauty is I truly can work from anywhere now. Now, previously, if I wasn't on site, I could also work remotely. I don't have an office I have to go to. I have an office that has been given to me, a cubicle, at one of our plants that's about 25 miles from our house. So as long as there's space for me there, the plant manager says it's no problem, because it's a benefit to have me there, because I do directly help his site, because I'm there, and people can come to me directly and I can go help them. I could help them from home as well, but it's just the difference. If you've ever had to work from home versus working in an office, it's a different vibe. There's different information that's transferred, and yeah, I enjoy going into the office. But I'm also enjoying this remote thing so much, in fact, that I took a little trip, pretty much almost a month. And over the holidays, I drove to Florida. I had, again, if you guys follow me on Snapchat or Instagram, you would have seen all of this. And if you don't follow me on there and you want to, you certainly can. I'll try to remember to put, I think I always put my links in. But, and also just to clarify, I put the same thing. So like Snapchat is like a mini story feature. So I will post, when I'm posting those little like updates and videos, I post the exact same thing. I film it on one of the platforms, either Snapchat or Instagram, and then I download it and I post it on the other one. So it's not a big, you don't have to be on all the ones. So it's kind of to hit people. And that's also because then when I post on Instagram, I can post it to Facebook, which I have primarily, it's set up for my family members. So then they can see what's going on in my life as well. So it's the same stuff on all. So if you follow me on one, you're set. I'm going to pause for a second. Okay, I'm back. Sun's still shining. Hey, you can probably see all the areas I did not get the whiskers. I should just pull over and do some whisker trimming. Tweezing. Whatever. Again, if you are a new person and this is the first thing you've ever seen from me, welcome to the circus. I am 100% real. You're going to not hear me try and be politically correct or professional in any manner. YouTube is a hobby for me, and I don't try and pretend I'm anything. I'm not an influencer. I'm just a person who has a lot of friends online and enjoys doing this. So yes, I just needed to get through the town I was at. I was in an area I did not want. I needed to focus. I mean, yes, I should be focusing on driving, and I don't want to hear about how, again, you can see I'm not really looking at you, I'm looking at the road. And I will again apologize. I'm sure there's some noise. I don't have the fans on really high or anything, but just road noise. So it is what it is. If it's too much, I'm sorry that you won't be able to listen to this video, because I also know I have to chat and update when I have the time. So I don't remember what the last thing I was talking about, the work. So yeah, so I'm in my new job, I'm loving it. Oh yeah, and so I went to Florida. I had not been to Florida, so I had made plans. Kim and I, seasoned friends remember Kim, we had made plans to go to Florida for my 50th birthday, which happened right as COVID blew up in 2020, obviously in April. And it was like, oh, if you go to Florida, you're not going to be able to leave. It was a whole thing. So I was unable to go. And then I was unable to go again. And prior to this, I had gone every year. So in that interim, my grandmother passed away, who lived in Florida. She was one of the primary reasons I would go every year, so I could visit her, as she was unable to travel. And then I have an aunt and uncle who are basically second parents to me, also in Florida. So I finally got to go. So I took, this is where things have changed. Kathy is a little older, a little wiser or something. I, number one, got a rental car because I figured I'm just going to pay for it. Because first of all, this job, they gave me bonuses for, I don't know, sneezing, I swear. No, not really. I mean, I worked hard, but there were some bonus incentives. And I just thought, I'm going to pay to rent a car versus wear and tear. And I have a 2010, you guys know Charlie. So, all of that. But rented a car. And normally, this girl drives. Now, I can't drive straight through from Minnesota to Florida. A girl has to sleep. But all the other times I have done this, I drive until I am exhausted, and then I pull over, I find a safe place, and I park, and I slept in my vehicle. This is, I was talking to one of my cousins, and we realized this is also a genetic thing. I have an aunt on my dad's side, still does the same thing. So we figure I got it from Aunt Linda. Anyway, whether it's in the past 4 years, as I'm a lady of a certain age, it has become quite annoying the number of times I have to get up and go to the bathroom in the middle of the night. And to do so, in the winter, and have to walk from a vehicle into a gas station and all that, and then try and go back to sleep. Yeah, it just wasn't happening. And besides the fact, remember how I said I spent all this time traveling in hotels? So my company was very generous in the fact that, of course, they repaid me. I paid out of pocket for my expenses and was reimbursed. But I got to stay at hotels, and I got to keep the rewards points. So this girl signed up for all the programs, and I stayed primarily at Holiday Inns. So their program, points program, which is more than just Holiday Inns. And I have buttload of points. I don't know that I'll be able to use them all up before they expire. So I plotted it out. I would only maybe drive 8 hours a day, maybe. And then I would stop. I'd have a hotel reservation. I'd go in my hotel and relax, take a shower, sleep in a comfy bed, not in a, reclined passenger seat with my feet on the dash, and pee as often as I wanted. It was pure bliss. And I actually think I took a full week. Did I leave on a Monday? And then there was one day I got to Tupelo, which, huge Elvis fan, FYI. So I took an extra day because it was a rainy day and I would have been like driving in rain the whole time. It was cutting through that area of the country. And I am, again, anxiety, whatever you want to call it. Things that didn't used to bother me now. And driving in rain or at night is very stressful for me. So I decided I'm taking an extra day. So I spent an extra day in Tupelo and I went and did a couple. I've been there before, so I've been to like the birthplace of Elvis. But there were a few new things and I just drove around and enjoyed myself. And I worked from the hotel that day because I had my laptop with me. And then I continued on. I took a different route, which I very much enjoyed because I avoided Nashville and Atlanta. Like if you just direct route from Minnesota to where I go in Florida, that's the most direct route. It's like go to St. Louis and you cut across Nashville and then you come down to Atlanta and into Florida. That's the way I've done it for many years. And you have to time things so you're like not there at super bad times. Anyway, I took a different route and I loved it. I didn't have much of anything. I think Memphis, I went through Memphis area and that was the most populated city thing. And then I made arrangements. So I was so excited. So I have cousins who live in Florida as well, but they live up on the, which is the Panhandle. Is the Panhandle this and this is the Foot? I don't know. We live on this part, like close to Mississippi, Alabama, that area. So I've never been able to stop to visit them just because of the other route I took. So I specifically made plans to visit them because they are cousins on my dad's side of the family. And my aunt and uncle have also both passed away. Eerily similar. Their dad and my dad, it was a genetic thing, and we're pretty sure my grandfather, they all died of the exact same, I don't know what to call it. If it's a disease, if it's a whatever, it's all the same thing killed them all. It was an instant kind of a thing. And both my aunt and my mom battled cancer for years. So my cousins and I could have a lot in common. Yeah, it's crazy. So I was able to finally stop and visit them and I pulled in. So the nice thing is my cousin's married and I went to her house, and then her sister, who is single, also lives in the same area and she lives in an apartment. So we didn't tell her I was coming, and she's just a year older than me, and my other cousin is 3 years older than me, the one I stayed with her at their house. So as soon as I got there, it was like right at supper time. They're like, oh, let's go pick her up and go out to eat. So they had told her that a friend of my cousin's husband was joining them. So I'm sitting in the back seat of the car, and then we go to my cousin's, and she comes out and she opens the door and she's like, hello to her sister and her brother-in-law. And then she doesn't look, she's just like, hello, Ken's friend from work. And then she looks at me and she's like, oh my God. It was so sweet. And what was so nice is that it seems, can you guys relate? There's a point in your life, if you don't make a point to stay in touch and see people, the only time you get to see them is usually a funeral, maybe a wedding if you're lucky and can all attend, but for sure it's like a funeral. And that was the case with us. And so the very sad thing, so there were 4 siblings in her family and 2 of them have passed away. So it's just my cousin and her sister, and the 2 of them left. So it was very fun. It was short. I brought them some fun stuff from Oh, the poor person. Sorry, I just need to say a quick prayer for that lady pulled over. Looks like her axle or something went out. And I could see it was a female by herself, like on her cell phone, so I know she's okay. But those are the things that scare me, like when I travel alone. Obviously, I don't pick up hitchhikers. I don't put myself in a dangerous situation. I stick to main highways and stuff. But there are just things, and that's like the one thing that I am just have unnecessary anxiety about, is like a tire falling off or something. I mean, I've had flat tires before happen, but not like where it blew out, but just like that when you're going 60, 80, 70 miles an hour. It just scares me. So I just, saying a quick prayer for that lady back there, that she's okay and will be fine. I know she will be. She looks fine. It wasn't an accident, but I could see her tire was jacked up. Okay. Anyway, so I packed this big cooler, like a big styrofoam cooler. We have a meat market that is near us at home that is really, really good, has really good stuff. And I'm like, well, what can I bring it, my aunt and uncle and my cousin, as a little thank you gift for putting up with me. So I I had some summer sausage and brats and jerky, and lefse. Again, if you're a Midwest person, it's like a no-brainer. You know what lefse is. You see it. You probably grew up with, like me, where we would just have it at Christmas. But you know what it is. In Florida, there's not a strong Scandinavian, and I am not Scandinavian, but typically lefse is a Scandinavian treat. And they don't know. My aunt has been looking for it. They've been in Florida 20 years now, and she's like, I've asked every time, and like at the holidays or something, and she asks people where lefse is and tells them what it is, and they bring them to the tortillas. So for sure, I always bring my aunt lefse. And so I brought some for my cousin as well. I did not think to bring, and now I know for next time, cheese curds are another thing, at least my cousin would have loved. I did have some cheese from my work that I did bring and divided. And then same thing, I had a bunch of stuff I gave my aunt and uncle as well. So that was pretty fun. So I spent one night at my cousin's, and we visited, and then the next day visited. It was just so fun visiting, and then I'm like, crap, I really need to get going. And it was honestly maybe 6-7 hour drive from my cousin's house to my aunt's house, so it should have been an easy one-dayer. But I left so late that I would have arrived at my aunt's at like 10:30 at night, and I just didn't. Nothing against my aunt. My aunt is a night owl, and my uncle, he goes to bed at like 7:30 at night. She's usually up till about 11. But I knew I'd get there, we'd want to talk, I'd unload, all that stuff. So I just decided, hey, let's use some more hotel points. So I found a hotel like halfway in between. So I only drove like 3.5 hours that day, and then I got a hotel, and then I finished it off in the morning. So I got there like right after lunch. And then it was lovely. I've gone to my aunt's many times. Like I said, they've been there 20 years, and I've been there multiple times. Had some great memories with my mom there and my other aunts. So I've done all the touristy things that there can be done in that area that I want to do. And now, again, the older I get, the less I want to deal with people. So I actually don't enjoy touristy things unless it's like off season. So I was in Florida 3.5 weeks. I did not go to the beach once. I didn't actually leave their house. I had to run to the post office, and my aunt and I went to see Wicked on New Year's Eve. Otherwise, I just stayed at her house, and I was working, so I'd have to work during the day. So the nice part was they have a nice lanai with a pool, and I would go sit out there. She had, I don't know where she got it. I'm sure it was a garage sale or a thrift store. Like the little tables when you're in the hospital that they have, that they wheel over, put your food on, or you have like your little desk. She had one of those out by the pool, and she had like a pool chair. So she's like, I have this all set up for you, so when you need to work. So I did. I'd go sit there in the lounge chair, and I pulled up the laptop, and I'd work, and I enjoyed it. It was a couple of days, it was kind of chilly, but I loved it. There was one day I had to put a sweatshirt on, they of course were freezing. And it was funny because I was like on the opposite end of the house, their guest room, and it had a sliding door out to the pool. And I like cracked the door open at night. Oh my God, my uncle about had a heart attack. So he goes to bed at 7:30, but he wakes up at like 3 in the morning. So he lets the dog out and he's like, has told my aunt, and I heard something and he was shutting the door. He's like, oh my God, shoot the door open, the heat's on. My aunt had already shut the vent in that room because she knew, and that end of the house gets hotter. Anyway, it was just funny, but it was so weird to me because, right, there was a day they had the heat on and then they had to put the air conditioning on. It was an adjustment, but I was not complaining. So I had a fabulous time, and I actually delayed my departure because if any of you remember, I think it was all beginning of January, because I knew I was going to stay through New Year's. And there were a couple really big snowstorms that came right across, like the area I'd have to drive, like areas that don't get snow very often. So I just said, no, not going to do that. And it was like ice storm and stuff. So again, I had no reason I had to go. So that's where I'm loving this working remote thing. So then I drove home and I've been working. So now today I'm actually driving up to my girlfriend's, it's like a 6-hour drive away, who I haven't seen, and she's like, we're sisters. I mean, she's my bestie. I am blessed with many besties. This is my sister bestie. We have so much in common, and I just have not been able to support her much over the past year and a half, so I really wanted to just go there and be there. And it's not like she needs me to do anything. You guys know how it is, just when you're living life. I mean, she's widowed. She's younger than me. She's widowed. She's got 3 kids. Her 2 oldest are in college. The youngest is 15 or 16 now. And so she's been doing, single mom thing now for, hold on. So she's been doing the single mom thing for 4 years now. And I mean, that's a lot. That's a lot of stress to put on anyone. Any single moms out there, you get it. If any of you are also widowed, add that part in there. Totally unexpected. I know I've talked about that situation before. Her husband, it was very sudden, wasn't sick, but that's been like 4 years, and there's a lot of pressures. You think about she's a school teacher. So there's definitely financial pressures, because Lord knows our school teachers are not paid enough. And so you have that, and now 2 kids in college, another in high school. I mean, and you're taking care of the home, and it's a lot. And that's where girlfriends need to come in, and I really need to just step up and be there for her, because she is so much like me. In some ways it's hilarious, because we would joke, she and Eddie were very similar personalities, or are very similar personalities, and her husband and I were very similar. That's why the 4 of us got along so well. But she is also one to not ask for help or not tell you if something's wrong. She just carries the world on her shoulders, and as I do. So we have to check in on each other. So anyway, I'm just heading up there. I'm going to spend a week and a half working from her couch. She has a couple days off. I said, if you want to do anything, Grace, that I'm planning to work, so don't have to entertain me. And hopefully I'll get to see some other people while I'm there. But yeah, so that's the beauty. I told her, I said, no, honestly, kind of figuring this work thing out, I could be working from anywhere. Nobody cares. As long as I have my computer and I can turn the camera on to show I'm alive, we're all good. So that's what I'm going to do. So that's work. Personal, yeah, Florida was great. What else? Oh my gosh, we bought a new vehicle. Whew. I did. It's all in my name. So I mentioned I have a 2010 Town and Country minivan. I love Charlie. She is good to me. She got a new battery this year. She's starting to show her wear. She's got some rust, just like I got my grays shining through now. But other than that, she's a good vehicle. And it's only she's got like 133,000 miles on it. And she's paid for. So I have for the longest time told Eddie, there's no rush. And then especially while I was doing that project, I said, I'm going to be gone most of the time. Why should I buy a vehicle to just sit in the driveway? Because we don't even have a garage. Or I'm going to be using rental cars. So now that job is secure, income is secure, he has been really pushing for me to get a different vehicle. And I'm like, okay, we can start looking. Friends, if you have a significant other like I do, don't tell them we can start looking. Because really, there was absolutely no reason it had to be done. It's not like our other vehicle died, was in an accident. No, there was no reason we had to go get a new vehicle. But he took it to heart. And he did all the research. Huge props to him because, again, that is very mentally taxing. And he did it. He found some, and I gave him my wish list. These are all the things I would love to have in a vehicle. And they were heated seats, more for him than me. I really wanted ventilated seats. Have you guys had a ventilated seat before? Hot people? It is like awesome. I only experienced it once, and it was in a rental. My girlfriend and I would go visiting. I went on a trip with her, and her rental had it. I have personally not, but it's a nice thing. I'm sorry. I don't mind having a little air blown up my hoo-hoo when it's hot. So I said heated and ventilated seats, a heated steering wheel. I actually wanted a heated steering wheel more than I wanted heated seats because, again, I'm hot, but in the winter, that's a nice feature. I really wanted a sunroof of some sort because I've never had one. I really liked the adaptive cruise control. These are like things people are going to be laughing at me. Again, I drive a 2010. They didn't have these things. But my rentals did. And I'm like, oh, I really like this adaptive cruise control because it just slows down, speeds up, all the things. Did not care if it had like a navigation or a entertainment package because navigation, I prefer using my trusty Garmin, which I currently have going, which I use for all my trips because granted you can use your phone as well, but I found personally my phones, it would just suck the battery down so fast with the map running. I know I could have like downloaded it so it was offline and all that jazz, but and I needed to, well, here's the thing. My work phone, I would need to call in for meetings. So even though I may not be at my computer, I can use my phone to like call in and listen in and contribute. But then my personal phone, I'm usually listening to audio stories. So it doesn't like to do two things at once. So I didn't really care about those things. Oh, the other thing I wanted was the passenger seat. And some of you will get this and some of you won't. So the driver's seat is usually pretty deluxe on any vehicle as far as they call it a power seat, and it's usually like 8-way or something. It's got extra buttons, you know, forward, up, down. But frequently the passenger seat is not as deluxe. It may have still like the manual, you know, you gotta grab the lever in the front to like slide the seat forward and back. And it for sure might just, you know, have a recline, but they're usually not power buttons. So I said I would really like matching power passenger seat because if Eddie and I go anywhere, he's the one to drive and I'm stuck in the passenger seat and it's just not as comfortable. So there. These are all silly little things to some people. Other than that, I didn't care. I mean, nice things would have been like the heated or the auto mirrors where you could just push a button and they fold in. Some of them had vacuums. I thought that was kind of cool. But those were like not on. So that was my list. So we would go look. And first we started looking at, because of course they don't make my Town and Country anymore. So we're like, okay, well, Chrysler has a Pacifica. I have a friend with a Pacifica, so I talked to her. She says they loved it and have had no problems. Did some research. I actually took a Pacifica when I went to Florida. So I was familiar and I liked it. So that was okay option. Then we did some research and I'm like, they are kind of known to have some transmission type issues. Obviously any vehicle could have some issues. There's no guarantee. So we weren't quite sure about that. Talked to another friend and they have the Honda Odyssey. They love theirs. They just bought theirs like brand new, ordered it, paid cash. Yeah, I'm not quite there, but they never had any problems with that. So, and then there was the Toyota Sienna, which is cost-wise the highest. And do we know anybody? Well, Eddie has a Toyota, so he has a Sequoia. It's a 2013, and he loves it. So then we did more research online, and we talked to mechanics. We talked to our mechanic, and he kind of told us of the three, he would recommend the Toyota. So we kind of narrowed it down. We were ruling things out, and we figured out they call it the trim. The trim levels is what you get for your packages, because there's like XE and SE and all of those, touring and sport. There's all the thing, and they all have different things. So we found the minimum level I would want. And it was funny because I was telling Eddie, we'd find something, it was a pretty decent deal. So it was going to be a used vehicle. I could not afford, I don't know how I'm going to afford the one we did buy. Spoiler alert, we bought a vehicle. Or I did, actually, a week ago today. But I had said, well, because we'd find some, but it wouldn't have like the sunroof. And I'm like, well, it doesn't have to. And Eddie was so funny. He's like, no, because he has a sunroof here in his vehicle. I won't open it. And he's like, no, that is something you want. You deserve it. You have worked hard. You deserve a nice vehicle. So at least it made it easy when we were driving in the parking lots, because we'd find up one and it'd be like, nope, no sunroof, bye. So we'd keep going. We also knew we didn't, again, I'm not an anti-environmentalist. Tree huggers don't come for me. We did not want a purely electric vehicle. Number one, just not so sure about them. Number two, where we live, I live in the middle of nowhere. Seriously, the county, I think I've said this, the county I live in has a total of 10,000 people. It's not like there's places I can recharge easily. And we have extreme weather issue. It was just like, no, we do not want an electric vehicle. So we went, and he was even looking out of state. We found one down in Texas that looks like a very good possibility. And can anyone explain to me, so here I am. I mean, I'm not super picky. Oh, so my other things were, I really did not want a white or a black vehicle. I wanted some color in my life. Why is it that all there seems to be in the car lots for newer vehicles are white and black? You might get like a dark blue, maybe. But it's like, that's all. There's like very rarely any color. I'm like, does it cost more for color? And we were talking to one of the salespeople, and they said, actually, there's like this white that costs more. Anyway, I said, but obviously that's not a deal breaker. So once I'm in it, I can't see the color. So it's kind of like, whatever. So we found one, and it was like the deluxe version. And we took it for a test drive, and we went to a CarMax. Now, here's my little thing. I mean, first of all, we could not get the jingle out of our head, but we couldn't remember all of it. And then I was trying to Google to find the jingle online, and it kept just like playing like ads, and none of them had the CarMax song. Anyway, that was annoying. And it was we were up in the Twin Cities, so we live south of the Twin Cities in Minnesota. So we were up at this big CarMax, and they had a Toyota, I remember 2020 or 2021. Mileage was not bad. It was like the deluxe version where it was all leather. It had all the bells and whistles. It had the coolest. Okay, this was the only time I saw, I think they call it the 360 camera. And I like hit the button, and it like seriously did I don't know where it is outside, if it's on the roof or wherever. It like did a scan of completely all around the vehicle to ensure there's no obstacles or anything. That was super cool. The second row seats in the minivan, they were like recliners. Seriously, they had like a footrest ottoman that lifted up. You know what the problem was for this CarMax who's talking all about how fabulous they are? The vehicle wasn't clean. It wasn't detailed. It was sitting on their lot. It wasn't like they just got it in. And I told Eddie, I go, well, yeah, this has some nice stuff. It drove fine. One of the things was the console, and when maybe I'll show you sometime when I do a minivan Monday in my new minivan, in the one we bought. But it was like, it turned me off. I'm like, you'd think they'd clean it. I mean, it wasn't like there was dirt everywhere, but it's like the leather seats you could see were like they needed to be cleaned. Looks kind of grimy. I don't think they even had like a floor mat protector or anything in. So I mean, that's why it's like, Eddie, I'm not getting a good feeling on this one. So we didn't get to that one. And then, so that day I took the day off, kind of, but I was also trying to work. So Eddie was driving, so I had my laptop, and I was able to use my cell phone as a hotspot so I could get connected onto my network and do work. So I'm sitting in the passenger seat as we're driving around car lots, working, doing emails, all this stuff, while Eddie's, then I'd stop and we'd go for a test drive. So he all of a sudden pulls up in this, he found another place. We went in it, or did a drive-through, and looked up on their website, and they had a nice looking, from the outside, nice looking van. 2022, had 53,000 miles, I think, or something. Looked like it was the basic trim level. Didn't have all the things I wanted, but I said, yeah, let's go for a test drive. Let's see the difference, because we hadn't driven where it had the different console. And again, it's hard to explain. It's like, I'm used to like having some space, and I don't remember what year it was. If it was 2022, it switched, where in the Toyota, it's like a solid piece is connected to the dash to go back. And I didn't think I would like it. So we took it for a drive. The guy came with us. Eddie drove part of it, then I drove. And the huge difference, as soon as we got in, it was like pristine clean. I almost like slipped out because they had like saran wrap, I swear, on the passenger seat. It wasn't even like the paper. It was actual like plastic, so you were not getting the carpet dirty. It was impeccably clean. So we like took it for just a test drive, for, I don't know, a loop, so we could go through residential and then like get up to speed on a highway. And it was insane. We just both were like, I don't know, I kind of like it. Price, not gonna lie, there was a moment where I had to run to the restroom and I was dry heaving, but we talked, and we'd done all our research, so it was like, I think this is it. So I got a new vehicle. It does not have a heated steering wheel. It does not have ventilated seat. It does not have power mirrors. It does have the rear, or the defrost in the mirrors though, the side mirrors. And that's about all I know. Because then we drove home, so we buy it. Why do they make it, you take it, this forever? I don't know why. I'm pretty sure I have a picture, so I can at least put you in. So, and it's black. It's a pearl black, but it's black, which is still preferred over white. So we have a new vehicle. We are not getting rid of my 2010 Charlie. She's staying. She's still going strong, because what we're actually going to do is park Eddie's, or at least we turned it down to be low mileage, and he's going to be driving that van because it gets better gas mileage and it's less wear and tear. Because his, yeah, we're already up to 188,000 on his Sequoia. Now, Toyota, is any Toyota people out there, please chime in with your input. I hope it's all good. They are known to be, you can get 300,000 miles auto. So, and that is kind of me. That was the other thing when we were buying a vehicle. We had like a mileage limit and kind of a year. We didn't want to go anything older than 2020, and we were hoping to stay under 60,000 miles. Because we also knew I want to keep it, pay it off until it dies. that is, and there's no right or wrong way. I know people that lease vehicles because they just always like to have the they like newer vehicles. They like the way the lease program works. That's nothing I've really looked into, so I have nothing against it. I know people that buy new vehicles or new to them, whether it's brand new or a used one, and once the loan is paid off, they trade it in and get another. Again, nothing wrong with that. And that's kind of where Eddie had always been, because as soon as Charlie had been paid off, he was like, oh, we need to trade her in. Well, she's got a trade-in value. And I'm like, why? There's nothing wrong with her and no car payment. And my mentality is, as long as any repairs, which if they're just standard maintenance, is normal. So until the repairs start becoming more expensive than a car payment, I'm fine keeping the vehicle unless there is a serious issue. So you do what you do. So there's that. Oh, but those are the coolest things. I had never seen this. So then we were going back and forth with financing. I'd already been pre-approved through our local credit union, but then the financing people there actually came in at a lower rate with a better deal. So we ended up financing through the dealership. And the guy that took us back then to do the paperwork, this is the first time I've seen this. I mean, obviously it's a monitor because it's a screen, but it like fit his desk. And I know I took a picture, so I know I have to put that in here. And it was so stinking cool. So he could like manipulate it. He'd have like the documents up, and then he'd click a button and it'd rotate. So it would be, so I could see it on the other side. It'd be facing me. And then it was a special stylus to like do signatures and stuff. But it was so stinking cool. It was the first time I'd seen it, and I love gadgety stuff like that. So I'm just curious if anybody's seen that before. And does anybody have one? The guy, he was this young kid too. I am such an old lady now, but he was just this young kid. He's like, yeah, he goes, I have no idea how much they cost, but they're really awesome. So we just had our taxes done earlier this week on Monday. No, yesterday. Was it just yesterday we had our taxes? Yeah, time flies. And when I was signing the paperwork, because this loan is 100% mine, the car is 100% my name. I had told Eddie, I have to take a picture of this, and we got to show Gene. He's going to need to get this. So we talked to our accountant about it. He's like, I've seen those. He goes, I was at a conference or something, trade show, and he said they were really cool. But okay, I've talked for over an hour. What else do I need to tell you? Oh, so the channel, I don't remember if I've actually talked about this. So if some of you are super seasoned friends, I love you. Thank you for staying. Obviously, I'm not really I used to do like lifestyle. I did a lot of subscription boxes, that kind of thing. Currently not doing any of those. Doesn't mean I might not do them. I think I might start posting. I am still a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. Again, my little plug, I'm a terrible salesperson, but if you are in need of anything, and I do get their monthly paper pumpkin kits, they're called. They're like card making craft kits that get sent to you every month. So I might start showing some of those, or I filmed some, I just need to edit them. And sorry, the road's getting pretty bumpy. So I may still share those just because I find them interesting, and maybe somebody else does, and it's something you're interested in. So maybe doing some of those kits. But other than that, there may be the occasional, if I find some really cool stuff, of a haul of some type. Not a primary. Eddie and I have started doing, he enjoyed when we did videos a long time ago. There were a couple boxes we would do together, and he kind of misses that as well. So we're kind of doing taste testings again with he and I. Kim will not be joining us anytime at all that I know of. There's a whole backstory to that, but she has made some significant changes in her life, and I am, let me just say, very happy for her. So if anybody is going to try and backstab me or twist anything, you got it wrong. I am very happy for her. She has just moved in a different direction, and friendship kind of fell by the wayside. So not going to get into a lot of details. However, I am starting to get a little bit like looking in the mirror that it's me, because there were actually Kim and I and another lady, we were all like really close friends and had like the best chats and laughs, and all of a sudden the one friend like ghosted both of us, and neither of us ever could figure out what happened, even though we repeatedly reached out. I know I did. And to like, do I owe you an apology? I have no idea what I did. Nothing. And then now Kim kind of did the same thing to me. So I'm starting to think, what's the common denominator? So I'm like, it obviously must be me, because I don't know why they both kind of just decided they didn't need to be friends with me anymore. I don't know. Anyway, so, but those videos are still going to stay on the channel because they are hilarious, and they have my cute friend, our cute friend Sarah. And again, I want the best for Kim, and maybe at some point her life will open up so there's space, but right now she's focused on her. And she deserves to. Everybody deserves to. It's like no need for anything. It's just that if that was something you really enjoyed, I'm sorry, no longer part of the channel, but hey, watch the old videos. They're hilarious. So I don't know. Yeah. Maybe I'll start trying to do some minivan Mondays again to check in with people. That'll have a regular schedule. Just these nice little chats or long chats. But yeah, that's kind of where we're at for the channel. So I did change. The channel used to be called Spicy Cat Jams. And I actually came up with that name when I was selling Jamberry. I still love doing my nails, by the way. But it was just fun. Like when Kim and I were doing videos, it was really fun. It just was fitting. It's just a fun name. So I changed it to what was originally SpiceyCatChick. That's me. I'm SpiceyCatChick. That's actually my email, SpiceyCatChick@gmail. So I just changed that in the, but I think it's not like, I didn't close the channel and restarted it. YouTube let me change the name. So there's that. So yeah, I guess that's kind of where I'm going to keep going, and I expect I'll have more seasoned friends. I also have a ton of vlog footage from the last year and a half. Each of these trips I like saved footage, and I never had the time to edit. So I think I've mentioned it before, and people have been, yeah, post it. So as time permits, I may start editing, and you're going to get like vlogs from the vault. Totally not current to date, but still, and those would be more for myself to have them available for posterity or whatever. So you can see, yeah, some vlogs, some chatting. Eddie and I maybe doing some more stuff. He and I are starting to do like meal prepping because, again, save money, trying to eat healthier. He has still has some medical issues that he's dealing with, that he has some food limitations. So we've been trying to meal prep because we both pack lunches for work. So maybe we can do some cooking. We had started trying to do that. We called it kicking it in the kitchen. So maybe we can start. I really don't know, but I just wanted to let you know where I'm at. Things are really good in my life. Eddie's and my relationship is doing really well. We had some rough patches, but you know, marriage is hard work. It's not easy. And you either commit to both. You can't have one person that wants it and not the other. Both partners need to be dedicated to finding solutions and compromising and making things work. Otherwise, it's not going to work. But, and to be honest, a year ago, I didn't know where I'd be right now. I didn't know if I'd be divorced, if I'd still be married. You know, there was some pretty dark times for us, but we have come through it stronger, and it's been fun to kind of bring back that relationship, because it was kind of dormant for a while. So yeah, I'm just like so happy in so many ways, which is usually not me. I know, seasoned friends, you've spent some time with tears with me and through the rough times, and I just can't thank you enough. And mostly, I hope I can be, by sharing my story, you know, as much as I can share without, there's things I'm not going to share, to let you know that even when you go through those dark times, and there will always be dark times, you just got to keep moving, keep trying, keep pushing forward, doing the best you can with what you have as your resources. And I truly believe things do come around, and I hope I am proof that it does, because there were some dark times I really didn't know. There were some dark times in the past few years where I thought if I hit a concrete barrier hard enough, I wouldn't have to worry about it. So I get it. I've been there. So hang in there. The other news, I know I shared this, I did a long chat on my coloring channel, but if you don't follow me over there, didn't see that I am super excited to share is I'm a grandma. I'm a grandma. I've mentioned it before, seasoned friends, you've heard this. I don't think I've ever given the full story because I don't know, but I do have a son that I released for adoption. We became pregnant when I was in college. I was 20 years old. I've said this before, sperm donor wanted nothing to do with my problem. It was a very difficult, hard decision, and in the end, I chose adoption for him, for my child. I didn't know it was a boy till he was born, and I have my reasons for that. Not that I didn't have the heart of a mother, and I didn't doubt that I would be a great mother and my child would be loved, especially with my family. It was the choice I made, and I can honestly tell you it was the wrong choice for me personally, my heart, what I wanted. But that's where I look and say parenting, it's you put your own needs, somebody else's needs above yours. And my desire for him to have a mother and a father and not have to want for things, or I put his needs above my own. But my heart has been broken forever. And when you're 20 years old and you're making decisions like this that affect the rest of your life, at 20 years old, I had to accept the fact that if this was my choice to release him, I accepted the fact I may never have another chance to be a mother. You know, at 20, I'm thinking, oh, I'm going to meet someone, we're going to fall in love, we're going to have kids, all that, because I very much have a mother's heart. But there was no guarantee. And as fate, whatever had it, we didn't. I mean, I met Eddie, we were unable to have children. Then I had cancer, uterine cancer, so everything got yanked. So physically couldn't have a child anymore. We looked at fostering and adopting for ourselves, and there were just so many blockers in place. So again, I, at 20 years old, did not ever think I would be a grandmother. I also gave that up. But, again, I've mentioned it before, God, to me it's a God thing, has always watched over my son and his family and kept us connected in a way. And when he was 18, he called me. I was in the frozen food aisle at Walmart, I'll never forget. And he called me and we met and we have had a relationship. It's not, I don't know what a normal relationship is in this situation. One of my college roommates, another great girlfriend, she went through a similar situation like right after I went through mine. She was pregnant, became pregnant right before I had my son, and she chose the adoption route. And her son has also connected with her, and she's much more in touch with him. And that's what works for them. For me, it's so much mental blockage. I know it's my own mental blockage, but I'm always so scared of doing or saying something that would make him not want to be part of my life. And I know part of that stems from how I've been treated by some members of my family, but I also know in my heart that would never happen with him, but it's my own hesitancy. And he was young and busy in life, you know. But he's always kept in touch with me. And then now he is now a dad. He and his beautiful wife had a baby boy in July. and I am a grandma. I consider myself a bonus grandma, and Eddie is over the moon excited because same for him. He never thought, you know, we're the fun aunt and uncle, but to actually be grandma and grandpa, oh my gosh, you guys have no idea. Gotta change the subject or I'm gonna start crying. But he is the most beautiful, and I'm sure every grandma says this, right? He is truly the most beautiful, smiley, happy boy. And I just truly am going to do all I can to be an active part of his life. So that is top priority, to come visit him soon. Because the last time I saw him, like 2 weeks after he was born, I got to meet him. And then in October, we were able to connect before I went on my big long trip to South Dakota. And now I have not had a chance to visit with them again, other than, you know, texts and stuff. So definitely need to go see that beautiful baby boy. So that's my other super happy news. So there you go. I just, again, to show you, there's so many dark times in our life, and then things and blessings are showered upon you that I personally do not feel deserving of. You know, with my job, the security it's brought to me financially, the way it's helped me to grow professionally and personally, you know, having a grandson now, having a marriage that is strong. I mean, all of those things are such blessings, and I want all of you to have them as well. And especially if you're in a position right now where you're not, hold out hope. It's coming. So what's also coming is sunset. So I'm going to close this out because I am only like 45 minutes away from my girlfriend's house and it's getting dark. So I just wanted to say thank you again for bearing with me on this super long chatty video. I am here. I'm still here. I will try. I make no promises because that never seems to work out. So just know I am here along with my neck waddle. What age does this start coming, my friends? Because mine's there. I know, again, I'm not professional, so I'm not doing the perfect angle and the ring lights and all that. I'm filming as I'm doing a road trip. If this is not professional, yeah, it's not. So, okay, my dearest friends, I appreciate each and every one of you so much. You matter more than you know. That has been another thing through all the challenges and all the travel from the past year and a half. Even though I wasn't on here, I stayed connected with a lot of you, and I just thought about you. And there were many I spent a lot of miles on the car. I did a lot of praying, and I prayed for each and every one of you multiple times. And I hope maybe you didn't know it at the time, but maybe there was, I like to call them a rainbow moments, where something happened in your life that was good and positive, or you felt like you got a hug. I hope you know, I was thinking and praying for you. So you matter. You are beautiful. You are amazing. And my life is so much beautifuler. My life is so much better because you have come into it and you have welcomed me into your life. So, okay, friends, I better sign off because, again, the sun is setting, it's getting dark, and I have really talked a long time. So, I love you guys. Bye.